3.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. This is our weekly program featuring everything that is coming up in the area's music, arts, and entertainment scene. We will interview local artists, authors, musicians, and even some nationally recognized names who may be performing here in our area. We will have movie reviews and film suggestions from the real dad, Mark Schumann, and etiquette tips from Catherine Michaels. This is your all-access pass, and here are your hosts, Arts and Leisure editor Sally Sanders and our entertainment reporter Steve Coulter.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. I'm Steve Coulter, joined with Sally Sanders as always, and today we've got a special guest. We've got broadcast director Eric Gendron, and as well as company resident Star Wars aficionado. Eric,
wow.
You are 5 hours away from seeing Star Wars,
yes,
The Force Awakens. How are you feeling right now?
I have been trying not to get excited for a year and a month, and I've been failing miserably ever since that first teaser came out, Thanksgiving of 2014. I can't believe we're already here. But I remember I was at the gym, and when the first teaser trailer dropped, I'm in the middle of...
Just drop what you're doing.
I was still on the treadmill, actually, and I'm watching it on my phone, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then that shot of the Falcon doing the loop-de-loop there. And like I had to stop. I was like I can't handle this. We got a little emotional, and ever since then, there it is.
Did it bring you back to your childhood a little bit, or?
Oh, absolutely. And that kind of my expectations were I didn't have very high expectations. When Disney announced that they were going to do a whole new set of movies.
That they had bought the
franchise. When they bought the franchise from Lucasfilm for a cool $4.5 billion.
Nothing. It's pocket change.
Well, looking like they're going to make that. Yeah, looking like they're going to make that back pretty quickly here with all the merchandising too that we've been inundated with. But so my expectations got a little higher when when I saw that first trailer, and I've always been a big J.J. Abrams fan, even from back in the days when he was. The creator of Alias on TV. That was one of my favorite shows back in the early 2000s.
He's had one of the more interesting careers in Hollywood over the last 15 years.
I mean, the dude he mailed a script to Harrison Ford and got him to call him, and that was regarding Henry. At age 22, he wrote regarding Henry, and Harrison Ford calls him in his college dorm room and says, hey, I want to make this movie that you wrote, which is insane. So
and here they are all the years later working together.
Yeah, and here they are working together all
There's
these years
Harrison.
later. Yep.
Han Solo.
And that was the other moment where I was when they
to see Harrison Ford.
Oh, that second trailer. Actually, I was in the middle of directing Yankee Fisherman when that trailer dropped, and
you know exactly where you were.
May or may not have been watching that whilst tickling the ivories of the controls. Well, sorry, John. But my expectations have been low. Some people have been saying that they want this film to be as good as the originals, and that's never really been.
Yeah, you said yesterday you want it to be better than the prequels, which is
setting
the bar low.
That's a really low bar to clear. That was my original bar that I wanted to clear. That was before I saw that first trailer, and then I saw the first trailer, and then I was thinking, okay, I think we can raise the bar a little bit. And I want a film that can stand on its own. The thing that I've gone from worrying about is this going to be as bad as the prequels to, is it going to be too cheap of nostalgia? Is it going to be
too much into the first three?
I want a film that can stand on its own and not be completely resting on the quite sturdy base of the first three.
It's so interesting that even before they dropped the first trailer for this, little boys were still playing with lightsabers. I mean, it's something that never went away.
I mean, think about this. This is a crazy thing. You can still go to a regular toy store. You can go to Toys R Us and find a Luke Skywalker action figure.
Right, they've never gone away.
Sure. Luke Skywalker in particular, just this regular, Darth Vader I kind of get, but just the regular hero of some movie that debuted in 1977. You can go, not a collector's place for nerds, just regular Toys R Us. You can still go buy a Luke Skywalker action figure, which is amazing.
And little boys are still playing all the roles.
Yep.
I mean, it's the biggest franchise name in the history of cinema, I would say. I mean, you don't get a $4.5 billion sale without being the biggest.
So you're not really, with this film, you're not really introducing something to because they know the basics of the
True.
story.
I mean, Star Wars is so pervasive and throughout pop culture. I mean, it basically created pop culture. I feel like sometimes, and but you can't. I hope that they don't completely rely on that. I'm all for some nostalgia. I'm all for. I've got a bad feeling about this. I'm all for Han saying, "Come on, baby, hold it together." Just talking to the Falcon.
And Chewie going.
Yeah, and Chewie. Yeah, but I hope that it has heart and soul and character arcs, for crying out loud. I mean, that's all,
I'm glad you mentioned the characters. That was my big question. You've got Poe Dameron is going to be Oscar Isaac's character. Do you think he's going to be more of a Han Solo, or do you think he's going to be more of a Luke Skywalker?
It's going to be interesting. I'm really a big fan of Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yeah,
I loved Show Me a Hero on HBO.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite
that
stuff.
That was great.
Yeah.
I loved him in Inside Llewyn Davis. If I didn't love the whole movie itself,
he was
great in it. Yeah.
And a Most Violent Year too.
With Adam Driver, who's playing Kylo Ren.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I think he's a fantastic actor, and I'm very interested to see where they take his character, because we know the least about his character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Going into this.
So you've got the Rey and the Finn, Daisy
Exactly.
Ridley, and then you've got John Boyega. They're going to be kind of the leads.
Yes.
And they kind of follow the track of Luke, kind of from obscurity into this realm of being the kind of the hero of the story.
And that's fine. Thematic echoes are fine. But I don't want, if I hear, that's no planet, that's a space station, or General, Domhnall Gleeson's General Hux turns out to be a complete ripoff of Tarkin from the first. I don't want a New Hope remake. I want something that will honor the original and not treat us like idiots.
Right.
Basically.
Okay. Well, what I was asking about before we started the show was the idea of we saw episode
4 through 6.
Then we saw 5, 6. Then we saw 1, 2, 3. So now we're moving. And I wanted to know if George Lucas had it all in his head. He didn't write these last 3.
Correct.
Did he have an outline for them? Did they work from
They
that?
did have an outline. George Lucas did submit an outline, and they did start working on a script for Episode 7 based on George Lucas's outline. It was written by Michael Arndt, who wrote Little Miss Sunshine and Toy Story 3. And his name is actually still on the poster, believe it or not. It says written by J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, and Michael Arndt. So he still gets a writing credit, which is interesting. It would be very interesting to hear how much was actually kept from his treatment, which was based on George Lucas's outline. But basically, they said, no thanks, and I think that's probably a good move, considering the just torture I went through for 6 years, of just okay, maybe this one won't be as bad. Okay, maybe this one. So I'm very excited that Lawrence Kasdan is back, who wrote
Kasdan's great.
Empire Strikes Back, boom, and co-wrote Return of the Jedi. And having this film in the hands of such a fan like JJ, but a professional who I feel like will be a fan, but he's talked about it in almost every interview he's done. Being a fan on this, but being able to step back and still make a good movie.
Yeah, and create something original.
Yes.
I think you've been repeating it. It's the most important part of this,
Yeah,
is that it's
absolutely.
its own material. And they kind of have the benefit of it. They're working 30 years in the future. Do you want to talk a little bit about the plot of this movie? It's not too connected to the original
Luckily,
series.
I don't really. I'm so glad I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you been checking the internet at
No,
all?
I've been avoiding it. I don't
you
want
haven't
to
read
know.
any of the
I mean,
pre-reviews?
all I know is what pretty much everybody knows. Finn is a stormtrooper who,
Right.
for some reason, gets disillusioned by this new First Order, which is the remnants of the Empire, and Rey is a scavenger on this desert planet, and they somehow meet up, and then they somehow meet up with Han, and they're somehow connected. That's all I know, and then the rest of it. I'm so glad I haven't been spoiled. Don't anybody spoil it for me before then. But I really don't know anyone that has seen it, and I've been staying away from those leaks, that kind of went online.
Right.
The only thing that kind of got leaked that I found out that has kind of been now released in the trailers is that Kylo Ren is a bit of a dark side relic hunter. And as you've seen in the trailer, there's that picture
He's
of him.
clutching
He's got Darth
Darth
Vader's
Vader's
burned
skull.
helmet there.
Yeah.
And I guess he talks to it, so he's crazy. And so I'm kind of interested in Star Wars has just been kind of the general fantasy escapism, but I wonder if JJ might throw in a little bit of a statement about extremism, religious extremism in here, because I feel like the First Order sounds like it's going to be like this almost religious splinter group that is obsessed with the dark side, which could be a kind of an interesting, very timely topic.
Yeah, I was going to say very timely in 2015.
So I can't wait to have my mind blown tonight, and if this lives up to my expectations, which isn't very high, I should say exactly where my expectations are, because I didn't know what to expect, and then I saw Jurassic World this summer, and that is exactly. I saw it, I was like, okay, that's the bar I want this movie to clear. I had fun with Jurassic World, it was great, the dinosaurs were great, it had a lot of great nostalgia in it, but it was empty.
The characters were empty, right?
Empty. Chris Pratt was cool, but he was just cool. You
don't really know anything about him.
Exactly. He was the same at point A as he was at point B. Bryce Dallas Howard's character was the same at point A as she was at point B for the most part. The little boys grew a little bit, but there wasn't a really that much character arc, and so I feel like that was a good blockbuster bar to clear. I feel like I'm confident that it's very easily going to clear that bar, and if it does live up to my expectations or surpass it, this is going to be like a childhood friend finally getting clean after being on drugs from 1999 to 2005.
How many times are you going to go see it if it clears those expectations?
At least twice, because I'm going to have to see it. I'm going to see it tonight,
right?
And have my fanboy, nerd blinders on, and then I'm going to try to go see it again, probably with my brother when he gets in from LA.
Nice.
And hopefully go see it watch it a little more analytically, and try to actually break down the movie. I'm going to try to just let it wash over me tonight, and hopefully, get some of the bad taste of the prequels out of my mouth, and get back to those days I used to make
Cherish
up.
as a child.
Yeah, make up. I used to make up, stories with my friends, on the playground back in elementary school about
We've got a clip of your childhood stuff.
Yeah. Don't we? So I went home over Thanksgiving, and I've been really into Star Wars. There's my Millennium Falcon. It's in a little rough shape, but it's still holding together.
Yeah, it looks great.
And found all my old stuff. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And what you can't see in there is
that
a
Chewie
whole.
over in the top?
Yeah, it's like this weird. Remember Mighty Max's?
Yep.
Yeah, the face opens up and there's like a little mini playset inside. And the Death Star does that too. Okay. And I forgot I had that's Boba Fett's ship right there, and you got the snow speeder in there, and the Tatooine speeder, and then what you can't see under there is actually I see Captain Picard in there for some reason. That's Star Trek. But what you can't see in there is a big metal case, and that's full of the action figures. And I was like, I said to my parents, like, you guys spoiled me. I forgot how much you gave me for Christmas and stuff. And
that was it for years, right?
Yeah, and somewhere I want to dig out eventually. There's a picture of me. I took every ship and every figure and took a picture of myself with it back when I was 8 years old. So yeah, I got to find that. It's somewhere in my parents' house back then. But yeah, so. The inner nerd and inner child has been coming out lately, and it's gonna.
It's not only you.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I know it's already made $100 million and it hasn't even opened yet.
Yeah, it's crazy,
which is insane.
It's gonna make so much money.
Oh my god! It's got a long way to go to beat Avatar. I think it will easily beat.
It will stay in theaters for long enough.
It'll easily beat the biggest opening weekend of all time. I think it's gonna. Yeah. I think it's gonna crush it. I think it could crack 200 million opening weekend.
And I think you mentioned that Star Wars kind of started modern pop culture, and Star Wars was the first movie ever where people would go back to see it three or four times, wait in line. This has become like a tradition now. Lines are just kind of like, when you go to the movies to see a premiere like this, that's what your expectation is. It started in 1977 with Star Wars, really.
I went back and watched the whole saga from, and just to get, amped up and kind of, recap, because, I haven't watched a few of them in a long time. And I guess I hadn't watched New Hope in a long time. And you forget, it just drops you into the movie. I mean, you have
no idea what's going on.
Yeah, the scroll comes up, all of a sudden, ship, shooting, and the first people you see are robots, and the robots are shouting about stuff. And this dude with a black helmet comes on, and he's talking about capturing his princess, and yada, 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 and all this shooting. It's like, what is going on? And then the robots go down to this desert planet, and they're walking around a desert planet for 10 minutes, and you don't even meet your main character for 15 minutes into the movie. It's, incredibly.
It really defies what an action movie is.
Yeah, it really is incredibly risky. That it's kind of understandable why studios stayed away from it. what is this? Like, reading
You don't meet Luke
these
until
characters.
15 minutes.
Exactly, yeah. And then, and then they don't even get off Tatooine for half an hour. But thankfully, Fox took a chance on it, and
here we are all these years later.
Yes, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned Luke before we let you go.
Yeah.
Big question. You keep mentioning the character arc of the new characters and talking about this film standing on its own. How much do you want to see of Luke and Han and all the old characters,
well,
C-3PO?
It's pretty clear that Han is going to be one of the main characters.
Right.
I think we're going to get good.
He has his spark back. I mean,
Look at Carrie Fisher's hair,
That is,
by the
I
way,
think,
in that
going to be
photo.
the biggest miracle of this movie is that J.J. Abrams has gotten Harrison Ford to act for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, he's awake.
Yeah, and
he's awoken.
And he's been involved in all the press for that. I can't believe how much press he has done for this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been involved in all the silly things that they've done. He did that silly bit with Jimmy Kimmel where he's yelling at Chewie on the roof and stuff, and that was hilarious. And I'm just so glad to see him, kind of finally accepting Han Solo. But I don't think we're going to see Luke until at the earliest 15 minutes to go in the movie.
Really?
Maybe even 5 or even 1 minute left in the movie.
Really?
Because I think my theory for this film is that this whole film is going to be the journey to find Luke. And Luke, because I think they've kind of set it up that the Jedi have kind of slipped into myth, and for some reason, he has disappeared, which is why we haven't seen him in any of the.
I was going to say you haven't seen any footage of him whatsoever.
He has gone missing, almost Yoda-esque, and he's going to kind of become a hermit, and why is
I kind of like the Yoda comparison there. I didn't even think about that until now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, come episode 8, we're going to see Luke training the next generation of Jedi.
Oh, so you think Luke will be in the next one as well?
I think so, yeah. I think he's getting out alive. However, I don't think Han Solo will be making it
That's
out
the
alive.
casualty prediction?
I think that we are going to be bawling our eyes out.
It's got to have an emotional moment at some point.
Because I feel like...
Well, in one of the trailers, they show Leia, General Leia sobbing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But, and I also think that's one of the only reasons they could have gotten Harrison Ford back is that, because one of the things he was always mad about, he wanted Harrison Ford to sacrifice.
To die.
He wanted Han Solo to sacrifice
Right.
himself in Return of the Jedi, and Lawrence Kasdan wanted to do that too. But George Lucas was like, no, don't want to do it, and he wanted the super happy ending. And so I feel like they may have, reeled him back in with the okay.
We're going to give you what you wanted 30
years
years
ago.
ago.
What you always wanted. And we'll give you $30 million. So,
that's
which I'm sure always helps.
Yeah, because at his age, he probably doesn't want to commit to 2 more anyway.
Yeah.
Or 1 more
Absolutely,
even.
yeah.
So.
Good predictions. We'll let you go.
Okay.
And
Thanks, Eric.
good
Thank
luck.
you.
Hope you enjoy it.
I hope so. May the Force be with you.
We'll be back after this commercial break. We're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas movies and what to see over this holiday season.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. If that's the case, keep one thing in mind. It's always summer at the dock shop. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. The dock shop is not your average bait and tackle store. They offer a wide array of products, including apparel, jewelry, home furnishings, and some flat-out cool stuff, all with a nautical theme, most made in the USA. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Discover the Wilburton Inn in Manchester, Vermont, a 30-acre historic estate featuring a turn-of-the-century mansion with elegant inn guest rooms and 7 large private vacation homes, perfect for ski vacations and holiday celebrations. Special offer on select rooms and houses. Stay 2 nights, get the 3rd night free through Christmas Day. CNN has called the Wilburton one of the top 8 mansion hotels in America. Call 802-362-2500 or visit wilburtoninn.com for more information.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. Steve Coulter, Sally Sanders here. We're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas movies. Krampus is coming out, or came out last weekend. That's kind of a horror Christmas movie, and there's a whole litany of these.
It's a huge genre. It's amazing how many
subgenre,
slasher films and scary films. And I think it goes back to the idea of Santa separating out the naughty and the nice.
Sure.
So in these scary movies, Santa really goes after the naughty.
That's for sure.
I was telling you earlier about a couple of foreign films that I
you did some nice researching on this one.
Encountered. One called Sint, as in Sinterklaas. It's Dutch. It's a Dutch film, and it's about Sinterklaas, who comes out on the Christmas when there's a full moon. Which happens
is going
to be
this
the
year.
case
Yeah, I was
this
going to
year.
say, we got it coming up in 8 days.
And watch out, because Sinterklaas then goes around and murders the people who've been naughty.
Oh, no.
So this was promoted in the site that I was looking at by saying that at least it seems a little more high-tone to watch it with a subtitle and Dutch language.
Right.
The other one that was really scary, that's another foreign film about Santa Claus, and they do have more of a tendency in Europe to give the dark side of Santa Claus. It's called, what is it called? A Christmas Tale, and it's done in Finland. And in that one, Santa Claus is buried in a mountain, but he's a creature who can never die. And
the unkillable Santa Claus?
Yes, and someone digs him up, of course, and then he goes off on a rampage. So we should probably talk about more happy Christmas films.
Well, yeah, and of course there's The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim
Yes.
Burton movie. That's a classic.
And Gremlins.
And Gremlins, yes. Those are some of the staples.
Bad Santa is another one.
I've got Bad Santa at 4 on my all-time favorite Christmas movies, I'll be honest. I love that movie. I think it's super funny. Billy Bob Thornton was a Golden Globe nominee that year, and I thought he was just terrific. And Tony Cox is the assistant right there on the screen. He's so funny. Every time that's on, I always try to watch it. It's a great one.
Well, I should mention one more horror movie, which is Christmas Evil, which John Waters selected as his favorite Christmas movie ever.
Oh my goodness.
So
what's your favorite Christmas movie ever?
My favorite Christmas movie, I'm getting a little tired of it, but A Christmas Story, I have always loved.
Oh, it's such a classic.
I have always loved. I think they kind of have tried to kill it by running it.
I think they run it on a loop for 7 straight days before Christmas.
which is
starting, Friday? It'll probably be on a loop.
But anyone who's never seen it and watches it is just amazed and thinks it's the most wonderful thing they've ever seen. For me, it's right up there with Stand By Me. So.
Yeah, no, it's 3 on my Christmas list, and to be honest with you, only edging it out is It's a Wonderful Life, which is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
You can't get much better than Frank Capra's story about George Bailey. I feel like that movie is more than just a Christmas movie. It's really a human movie that speaks a lot about growing up in a small town and being connected to a small town and what it's like to leave and not leave. And it's just like a beautiful picture, but it also happens to be based around Christmas time. So there you go. And then Home Alone, obviously, is my number 2 with Macaulay Culkin and Joe Pesci.
I think if I'm doing nostalgia, I would go for White Christmas.
White Christmas with
and
Bing
Holiday
Crosby.
Inn. The two of them are both. You should watch them both.
Yeah.
Because
back to back, a double feature.
Yeah.
Like they're intended to be seen, right?
And Christmas in Connecticut is another one.
I had that on my list.
Barbara Stanwyck and Dennis Morgan, and she's just so funny. It's fun to see her as doing a real comedian role, which she does in this one.
Right.
playing a woman who writes columns about housekeeping and home arts and can't cook and has no idea how to run a house. And
she has no idea. It's one of
Yes.
those kind of clumsy performances.
well, she's trying to fool her publisher into believing that she actually knows what she's talking about.
Right.
But it's just, and then romance comes in, and it's in Connecticut. The snow flies. There are sleigh rides.
It's very
and-
local.
Yeah.
We got to promote it. It's our
Yeah?
Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Now here's one I have a question about, and it always comes up when I'm talking Christmas movies. Does Die Hard qualify as a Christmas movie?
No.
No, AJ says. I think it kind of does.
What?
I mean, it's.
This movie, no, but it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings you to the other discussion: is Trading Places a Christmas movie? That's also taking place during Christmas. With
That has a little
Eddie Murphy
more
and Dan
of
Aykroyd.
the sense of goodness and
Right.
versus evil, and I could go for that more as a Christmas movie. But
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
set with the Christmas backdrop, which means that, Home Alone could have happened at any time of the year,
Yeah, it
but
could
it's
have been-
set in a Christmas backdrop, which makes it a Christmas movie,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Home Alone, he could have been left at any time of the
Yeah,
year. He
could
could
have
have been
been
left
Easter.
on 4th of July, yeah,
Yeah.
at any time of the year.
Memorial Day weekend.
Exactly.
have
It
been.
wouldn't make for great entertainment. I think John Hughes knew what he was doing when he came
Yeah.
up with Home Alone, but
Well, another one that's tops on my list, I didn't really number them out, is A Christmas Carol, but the one with Alistair Sim.
oh, you
which
didn't
is
like the Jim Carrey version?
Not so much.
kidding.
And I like the George C. Scott pretty well, but Alistair Sim in black and white, it's really a great, almost scary movie. When the ghosts come out and he's frightened and wearing his little nightcap, and
Oh, yeah.
just a lovely film. And his face is so expressive.
The nightcap is one of the biggest kind of symbols of the whole genre, I would
Oh
say.
yeah, that's all you have to see.
What about Scrooge with Bill Murray?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites. It's so
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. Have you seen A Very Merry Christmas?
I have not yet. I was going to say people should check that out on Netflix because I know I'm going to before the holiday
Yeah.
arrives.
Yeah.
It's definitely one I have on my list.
It's interesting to think that Sofia Coppola
Directed it.
directed that, and she really only wanted to do it as she did with, what was the movie in Japan?
Oh, Lost in Translation.
She wanted him. It was all about
Bill Murray.
And
Well, he's such a...
but he's like the ghost of Christmas,
Yeah.
According to people who talk about him, he appears and disappears and
comes back again.
Yeah, and
He's
he-
never quite dead.
and he's done a great job with this one apparently. So that'll be fun to see.
And this last one I'm going to use as a transition out of the Christmas movies and into what's in theaters, but Elf with Will Ferrell. He's got a new one coming out in theaters with Mark Wahlberg this Christmas, but Elf is one to really enjoy if you're on the couch with your family.
Yeah.
It's entertaining for all ages, and it's really funny.
He's so good.
I know.
He's marvelous.
And it introduces people to James Caan. My girlfriend had no idea who James Caan was. I was like, well, he's Will Ferrell's dad in Elf. She was just like, oh, I'm like, he's a Hollywood legend.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
What's wrong with James Caan?
Absolutely nothing, but how do you not know James Caan?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He's Sonny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my reaction precisely.
the guy. Yeah. If you can't remember him from, well, maybe you just didn't know the name.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, he's a
maybe.
Hollywood legend.
But the new movie that's coming out with Will Ferrell is what, Daddy or
Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home?
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that
And
looks
so that
really
one's a
silly.
light fare. There's some real dramas out there this holiday season in theaters. We just gave you kind of our rundown of recommendations to watch at home or on DVD or on demand.
Yeah.
But there's plenty to watch in theaters. What are you intending to look at?
Well, the ones that I have on my list that I really want to see, you just saw Trumbo, and Trumbo
loved
sounds
Trumbo.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Mark Schumann, our real dad.
How many popcorns did he give it?
I think he gave it 4. He wasn't as ecstatic about it as some of the ones he just reviewed, like
Well, I think
Brooklyn or
cinematically
Cal.
it's not as good as Room. It's not as well done as
He said
Spotlight.
it's really a one-man show.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of relegated to
I just found his process so fascinating as like a writer. It's just like here he is typing away at the typewriter in his tub, and he's taking speed, and he's drinking, and he was wild. Like I had no idea. And then it really goes to show you the star power of Kirk Douglas. I mean, without him,
Yeah.
who knows whatever happens to Dalton Trumbo? Does he get the credits for Roman Holiday? Does he get one for The Brave One? Does he get his Oscars in retrospect, which he was able to do thanks to Spartacus? But I mean, it really goes to show you how important these Hollywood stars can be.
Well,
to make a movement like that.
I mean, it took a lot of courage to break that.
Oh yeah,
To break
Kirk
that.
Douglas. There's a scene where the guy who's playing Kirk Douglas goes face to face with Helen Mirren, and he's just like, you know what? I just don't care. Like, I'm gonna do this, and like the conviction that he had to know that, you know, the audiences in the world would follow him and not this fearmongerer, who I think I'm trying to think of her name now. It's like Heidi something or Hedda.
Oh, Hedda Hopper, yes.
That's it, Hedda Hopper. Yeah, that's Helen
Well,
Mirren,
she
who was
was-
great too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She was
she
a
was a
riot.
huge power at the time in Hollywood, and we don't realize now how concentrated the power was. I mean, it's so diffuse now with the number of outlets about.
Oh, she was twisting
about-
arms left and right
Yeah,
behind
I mean,
the scenes.
Entertainment Tonight can't really control the.
Can't make a studio head
No.
take down a picture.
No, but other than Trumbo, I'm really looking forward to The Big Short.
Oh yeah, it's coming out the 23rd. It premieres next
Yeah.
Wednesday.
And we should mention that also opening tomorrow is Sisters.
Yep, that's on my lighter fare
Yeah.
for people that don't want to go see these kind of heavy movies.
Yeah, or can't get into Star Wars.
Yeah, but I think The Big Short is kind of the mid ground for most families. I think, you know, you have people that like comedies, you have people that like dramas, you have people that like sci-fi and action. Big Short has a little bit of comedy, drama, maybe not quite as much action, but like I think that's a nice middle
Well,
ground.
it's got
for,
a lot of explanation. Apparently, it's supposed to be one of the
Yeah.
best explanations for.
Michael Lewis is one of my favorite writers. He's phenomenal. He did Moneyball and The Blind Side, and he's done a bunch of other.
Is this based on Freakonomics? Is that
No, the book's title is The Big Short. I'm pretty
okay?
sure.
Okay. But
Yeah, he's a great writer and great cast. You can't get much better than
No.
Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt's like mysterious. I don't know how much he's actually going to be in that movie or not.
He's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of doing what we just talked about with Star Wars with Luke. Like, I don't know when Brad Pitt's going to pop up in that movie or how big of a role he's going to play in it. It's going to be a mystery. Joy with Jennifer Lawrence is one on my list. David O. Russell's
Yes.
on a hot streak.
Definitely.
I mean, you know, one could complain that he keeps using Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, but
They work so well.
yeah, it's working.
They-
American Hustle wasn't as good as Silver Linings, but Silver Linings Playbook was a great movie. It's
Oh,
one of
yeah.
my favorites of
Yeah.
the last half decade. And then finally, The Hateful Eight and Revenant are the two big ones, but those
Yeah.
are going to be limited releases. So we're going to talk about those in 3 weeks when we
Yeah.
have Mark back in studio. I know he's already seen The Revenant and had great things to say about it. And anyone that survives watching The Hateful Eight, it's 3.5 hours or 3 hours long. So it's a long epic of a Western. That will be a fun one. And that's all I've got on my list. I'd recommend Room and Trumbo. Those are the two most recent ones I've seen.
I'm going to do some catching up too if I can catch some on streaming now. Love and Mercy I want to see, which I didn't catch when
Love
it
and
came
Mercy's
out.
great. It's,
And Grandma.
and Grandma, Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on my list as well.
Yeah.
And so those are just some of the titles that you can watch this Christmas season. There's plenty to watch on your couch, plenty to watch in the theaters. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap it up with some weekend highlights, and we'll be back after this next commercial break.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at The Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Do you do do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
This fall for our red panda. That's right, Rashawn the red panda will be visiting the Beardsley Zoo for a limited time. Resembling raccoons, red pandas primarily eat bamboo, but will occasionally eat fruits, berries, young leaves, and certain tree bark, like their better-known black and white cousins. As an adult, Rashawn is expected to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and you can see him at the South American Rainforest exhibit, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo of Bridgeport. A whole new experience. 875 Noble Avenue, Bridgeport. 203-394-6565. Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your local destination for the best of the holidays. Shop Stewart's for the freshest produce, certified prime rib roasts, magnolia wreaths, fresh baked pies, gingerbread houses, Christmas candies, and the season's best wine and craft brews right next door at Stewart's Spirits. Shop Walter Stewart's, 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate.
Good afternoon at HAN Arts and Leisure. Steve and I are going to give you a few ideas for the weekend, and
We're off for 3 weeks, so there's a lot of events.
well, we're just doing this weekend.
Okay, just this
And the
weekend.
following 2 weekends, you're on your own. But you can look for ideas at arts.hersamacorn.com, and so we've got a half dozen today.
We've got plenty.
And first of all, Eileen Ivers, who may be familiar to you from Riverdance shows. She's the All-Ireland fiddle champion and a star from Riverdance. She's going to be doing her Joyful Christmas show at the Fairfield Theater Company, Stage 1, Friday night at 7:45. The doors open at 7. And she and her band are going to be playing everything from gospel-style music to Gaelic classics with a Christmas theme, of course. Tickets are $48, and you can reserve those by visiting fairfieldtheater.org or by calling 203-259-1036.
Those who are in the mood for Christmas cookies,
Yum,
the
yum.
musical is coming, or continues, I should say, this weekend at Milford Center for the Arts at 40 Railroad Avenue South. This is a Pinocchio Productions, Inc. show. It's a nonprofit professional theater company for family audiences. Performances take place Fridays at 7:30 p.m., Saturdays at 2 and 5:30, Sundays at 2. For more information, visit Pontocino?
Yeah, Pentacino.
Sorry, I said Pinocchio. That was my bad. Tickets are available $18 online, $20 at the door. Reservations are recommended.
Okay, and we have another family show coming up, and this is at the Palace Danbury. Musicals at Richter, which usually does outdoor theater in the summertime, is going to be doing a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Well, Charlie Brown, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. They're going to have shows at 1 and 4 on both Saturday and Sunday, December 19th and 20th. And that's at the Palace Theater, 165 Main Street in Danbury. Tickets are $10, $15, and $20, and for information or reservations, you can visit visit palacedanbury.com or call 203-794-9944.
The Westport Country Playhouse Family Festivities Series will present Fancy Nancy's Splendiferous Christmas for 3 performances on Sunday, December 20th at 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. The musical is based on the best-selling book series by Jane O'Connor and Robin Preis Glaser. The show is recommended for ages 2 through 7. Tickets are $20. For reservations, visit westportplayhouse.org or call 203-227-4177.
The Fairfield Museum and History Center is featuring a very special Victorian dollhouse, which is all decked out for Christmas. This was designed by the late Evelyn and Frank Geritana of Fairfield. And
I like that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. Frank Geritana's news photographs are also on exhibit at the Fairfield Museum right now, so you can see both. And the dollhouse is being shown in conjunction with their Holiday Express train show. So they have some special hours for that. Train show and dollhouse hours are 10 to 4 on weekends, 11 to 1 on weekdays through December 23rd, and then 10 to 4 during the holiday week of December 24th through 31st. The museum is closed on Christmas and New Year's Day. The museum is at 370 Beach Road in Fairfield, and for more information you can visit fairfieldhistory.org or call 203-259-1598.
The Sons of Serendipity Season 9 finalist on America's Got Talent, whose new album Beyond the Lights is on the New York Times Best Holiday Music listing, so get that one for your family members. They're going to be performing at the Palace Theater in Stamford on Tuesday, December 22nd at 8 p.m. The band sings traditional carols and Christmas songs and will be joined at the Stamford concert, the Faith Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church Choir of Stamford and the Greenwich Public Schools Honor Choir. For ticket information, visit palacestamford.org or call 203-325-4466.
These guys play some interesting instruments.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Harp looks really cool.
Cello?
Yeah.
It's
not your traditional Christmas music sound, that's for sure. And that's all we've got for you this weekend.
Yeah.
Great film segment there with Eric about Star Wars. We're now officially, I think, under the 5-hour mark until it premieres.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, a lot of anticipation going into the weekend. Thanks so much for watching Arts and Leisure on the HN Network. We'll be back January 6th.
We'll see you in
3-week
2016.
Break. Enjoy a lot of holiday movies and have a good one. Enjoy the new year. We'll be back in 2016.